Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner Football Fans podcast. And on today's podcast, we have all the way from Pauls Valley. She goes by Rabid Sooner on Twitter. It's Tara Portillo. Tara shares her facts and figures about OSU and their fake championship, her lack of love for Texas fans, and Daryl Royal is from Oklahoma, and she tells us about her Hello Kitty autograph book. We also tell Texas jokes, and we get a few lawyer jokes in there too. Sooner Football Fans is not associated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have eligibility left. Boomer. Hey, Sooner football fans. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
And all the way from Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. She's known on Twitter as the Rabid Sooner, but it's Miss Tara Portillo. Is that right? Close enough, right?
Yeah. Yes. You said it perfectly.
So how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Oh, we're doing just fantastic. Did you have a good holiday weekend?
I did. It was fairly uneventful. I did torture my husband a little bit and took him along to furniture shop.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, because we're building a den. Of course, he's getting a huge-ass TV for the den, so the trade-off was he has to go look at furniture. So we did that.
Was it all OU-related furniture?
No, we're doing a color scheme. We're doing red and blue because red is OU and blue is Real Madrid, which is his favorite soccer team.
Oh, okay. So
yes,
a little bit of a mixture there because
yes,
actually,
but he loves OU football. All the T-shirts that you see that a lot of women wear that say "I married into this." My husband is one of those because he married into this, and he goes to all the games now, and he loves them, and he gets just as excited as I do. So I've made him an Oklahoma Sooner.
Well, that's
Still got to do his part.
But so tell us a little bit about yourself. How what do we do down in Pauls Valley? What other than the
I am an assistant district attorney in Pontotoc County, which is Ada.
Okay.
And I've been doing that for 18 years. I've been a prosecutor for 18 years. I've been a Sooner fan my entire life. The Sooner born, Sooner bred, Sooner dead thing applies in my family. And I graduated from OU in 1995 at the age of 10. So I'm super young. No, I graduated in 95.
At the age of
I graduated at OU. Do what? I'm sorry.
You graduated in 95 at the age of 10.
Yes, at the age of 10. So I'm super young still.
Okay, so
and we have a son that I'm brainwashing as my parents brainwashed me.
That's a good thing.
Mason,
raising that kid right.
Are you ready to answer the questions that Mommy's brainwashed you with your whole life?
Yes.
Okay, come closer.
Yeah, no, let's. We've got Mason going to come on, and he wants to.
Mason's going to be in the second grade.
Oh, cool!
Shaping the mind.
Yeah. Okay, Mason. What is the only thing good to come out of the state of Texas?
The road to Oklahoma.
Did you hear that?
Yep.
The road to Oklahoma.
That's a good one.
Mason, is it horns up or horns down?
Horns down. All day, every day.
Okay. What do we think about burnt orange, Mason?
It makes us cute.
It makes us cute.
Mm-hmm.
It sure does, my darling. There he is, folks. He's already a candidate for Mensa. Am I right?
Right.
They say bye, Mason. Bye, Mason.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye. That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm brainwashed like my dad. My dad always told me I could go to college wherever I wanted to, but he always said, "Baby girl, if you want Daddy to pay for it, you'll go to OU." So that makes the girl's choice really easy.
Now, before we get into all the Sooner talk, I have a question that could probably help Rob out a little bit. Since you said the assistant prosecutor.
Yes, an assistant district attorney.
Assistant district attorney. Okay. Well,
yeah, my boss, the district attorney, the elected official.
Oh, okay. Well, see, Rob had this issue going out to the Rose Bowl in Arizona.
I was framed. Okay? Let's just get that straight.
And let's just say, he was clocked slower than what he was going. Is that what you say, Rob?
Well, I did slow down some, yes.
So, is there any words you can put in for him out there in Arizona? Anybody you know out there
Hey, I've already paid the
that
ticket,
might give him a
I'm
refund
free
or something?
Clear. That was a little
Yeah,
expensive.
normally you're pretty much screwed once you get a ticket unless the trooper just doesn't show up to testify against you.
Well, I think you were lucky they let you do it over the phone, didn't you?
Yeah,
The judge.
Yeah.
the judge did. Well, you talk about some butt kissing. I was going 96 miles an hour in a 75, and it started out kind of going bad, downhill quick, and I was like, "Sir, let me just tell you." So
Yeah, normally if you end up making the judge mad, it's just going to go downhill from there.
yeah. No,
So,
I mean,
we
we
all-
were buddies after that call was over. Yeah.
So, now you got somebody on,
Right?
on both coasts. You've got the assistant district attorney in Oklahoma, and then you've got Scotty out in California, who's the captain of the, he's a captain of LAPD.
So yeah,
Oh,
or I could
wow.
just not go 96 and a 75 anymore. I mean, that would really be the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, and don't touch yourself in public. That's a big no-no.
Listen, you
just throw that
cannot
out there.
spoil all our fun over here. I don't know what
Yeah,
you're
you
thinking.
could have a lot of trouble that way too.
We might need to edit that out.
we'll get you a little cue card for you to carry around, right, Rob?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that went south real quick.
Literally.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Oh, man. So, anyway, first off, I want to tell the story of how we...
Wait.
Okay.
You see that a lot? I mean, there's got to be a reason. That was like the first thing.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm a sex crimes prosecutor, and
Oh,
I've been
yeah,
that
yeah.
for almost 18 years.
Okay.
So I essentially have the dirty mind of a 12-year-old boy. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
The
Sorry, I shouldn't
stories
laugh at
I could
that.
tell- Yeah, the stories I could tell would curl your hair.
Well, you got to realize we don't have much hair. So
I got some on my chin, though. I got
It would
some on my
make your hair
chin.
grow and then curl.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. That would be a tough...
Hey, maybe off mic,
Yeah.
Maybe
Tough
off.
job.
Yeah.
I ain't scared.
But how we came about, I guess, finding out about you was we had really just started this about a month and a half. Well, we'd been going at it about a month. And we were trying to figure out ways to get followers on Twitter and to get people to start listening to the podcast. And one of those ways, I do all my little studies about, how to promote your podcast and not spend any money because we don't make any money.
Yeah.
So it's like you try to figure out how to do everything for free. And one of the things they said was, do surveys, on Twitter and Facebook. So we tried that for a little while. But we had a little survey, I can't even remember what the question was, but it was like, why do you hate Texas, or what's the best reason to hate Texas? And there were a few little posts on there, and then we were at Buffalo Wild Wings again. That's our our weekly. That's our favorite spot. We go there every Thursday. And
Do they pay y'all like money?
no, we
They should. We'll look into that. I know people that do contract law. We'll look into that for you.
okay.
Hook us up.
But and we have been going there ever since they've opened for 5 years, almost every Thursday, and it's grown from just, a few people to sometimes we'll have 15, 20 of our friends there. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So, but anyway, we're sitting here and I'm looking through those questions to see if I can find any. And it was, why do you hate Texas or something like that? And there was a response, because my Bible tells me so.
Yes.
And it was you.
And it was you. We were laughing out loud, sitting right there.
And then the next response was, well, I wrote it in there, but it still counts because it's in my Bible.
But
Right?
yeah, still in there. Yeah, it's in my Bible.
And so right then, I think I sent you a message is that you've got to come on the podcast, at
Yes,
some point
you
in
did.
time, that because somebody with that kind of sense of humor, we definitely, wanted to get on here and talk about, all things Sooner or all things that we hate about Orange and Texas and everything else.
Oh yes. Oh my God, I can't even. I don't. The only thing orange that is welcome in my house are pumpkins at Halloween. That's it.
No, I don't even like pumpkins. So
Yeah, I don't
even like
color
pumpkin
with
pie.
the color orange. I won't buy clothes with orange in them. I don't buy orange like Thunder. Love the Thunder. Don't buy anything that has orange in it.
oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
And that upsets me about the Thunder with having even any orange
Exactly.
in their color
Yeah.
scheme. But
So I have a Harley
That's why I like
Davidson.
the navy and white uniform.
I have a Harley Davidson, and I ride a lot. And I've got one shirt that Harley Davidson's black and orange, but every
Right.
time I look at it in my closet, I'm like, no, I'm not wearing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I have to share this. Rob hates it when I bring this up. Of the three of us, who's ever worn an Oklahoma State jersey?
That would be me.
Oh.
Yep.
Did somebody abuse you or mistreat you
Yes.
to make you do that?
Yes.
Because again, we can, statute of limitations on that kind of stuff is long. We could prosecute him to the full extent of the law.
Well,
You voluntarily do it.
He
Were you
lost.
touching yourself in public when you did?
I lost the bet, but it kind of paid off.
Yeah, it was. He lost a bet to a girlfriend,
Right.
who was an Oklahoma State fan, and of course, I'm sitting there at work one day, and all of a sudden my phone just starts blowing up, and it's pictures of Rob crying, sitting in a corner, sucking his thumb with an OSU jersey on.
Yeah, I don't know how to fight back from that, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Well, I got to be a man and pay up on my bets. So
Yeah.
my Sooners just let me down that day.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, we got.
That's what I tell my OSU friends. I've got a lot of OSU friends who I love dearly. But when it comes to the team that they root for and the colors that they wear, I question their life choices.
I don't know if we can be friends.
Like, I love you, but you're afflicted.
Yeah, I don't. We've said it before, or at least I have. I'm the same as you. I've got good friends that are Oklahoma State fans, and when it comes to their team, they're the most annoying people in the world. I mean, as a friend, I can count on them for anything.
Yes.
But when it comes to, you don't even want to talk football with them or
No,
basketball.
I'd rather split my wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the argument that I love the most is, they're all bandwagon fans. None of them actually went to school there.
Yeah, and that's what they say about Oklahoma
Which
fans.
is a lie.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I lived in Ponca City. I prosecuted in Kay County, which the biggest city is Ponca City. That's the only city that most people have heard of in Kay County. And when you're in Ponca City, you're about 40 minutes from Stillwater. So I was in big-time cowboy country. I was the odd Sooner out. I have dozens of friends and people that I knew that loved their Cowboys as much as I loved my Sooner, and they never stepped foot on that campus as a student. So this whole, at least our fans are alums, that's just a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
I don't know where they come up with that.
Well, that's the only people that are fans of them. Are their alums?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you get bandwagon fans by the product of winning.
Yeah.
Since they don't win, all they got is people that went to school there. So
Yeah, I mean, when you can't fill a 53,000 seat, stadium, if it's in the, isn't that about what it is now? They don't fill it all
44.
the time. 44.
Well, and we used to argue all the time. I mean, and it was the same arguments over and over again. Kind of like you said, I love them to death as friends, wonderful people, but the minute we start talking about the whole Bedlam thing, and even my super, super smart, friends that are much smarter than I am in real life, friends fall into the same crappy arguments that all the other OSU fans fall into. And one thing we always argued about was the national championship.
Oh.
Don't even start. Well, even
get
on
started.
our website, they kind of allude to the fact of, we're a well-rounded school. We're not just good in one sport. Well, friends, I have numbers and facts and figures. If you look at OSU's national championships, which I did include the golf one today, but I excluded the bullcrap football one. Because not even OSU's website counts that one. So OSU's official athletic website does not even mention their 1945 national championship, and I'm doing air quotes right now.
Okay.
Their 1945 national championship. Okay, so not even OSU's page acknowledges that. So I'm not going to either. They have 34 of their 57 national championships are from wrestling. That equates to 62% of their national championships come from one sport. When you look at OU and the 37 national championships that we have, only 19% of ours come from football. We have a higher percentage that comes from men's gymnastics. So we're actually the more well-rounded school. We have them in 7 different categories. They only have them in 6. So this whole, OU's only good at football crap, actually that really applies to them because they're only good at wrestling.
And really, isn't most of their wrestling titles like a long time ago too? It's not like
1940 or something.
I don't know what they are, but somebody was saying that most of even their wrestling titles are so old.
I don't remember. I didn't count how many they had in the 2000s. Yeah, a lot of them are older. And that's what I would tell my friends. So I say, look, guys, when it comes to wrestling, no one is ever, and OU's won just as many in wrestling as we've won in football.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times that we beat OSU in wrestling. So I look at them and I say, look, I fully concede the fact we are never going to touch you guys in wrestling. You dominate the sport of wrestling. But the OSU fans will not admit the same things to us about football. It's like it's like a mental block. It's like they're all conditioned. Like Boone Pickens is handing out billion-dollar bills saying, hey, don't ever concede that we won't have the football program they have.
Yeah, and they won't. And most people who, I mean, I even know some that go there who are, normal. I mean,
yeah.
They will. The good fans will concede that. They will say, you know what, we're not going to be Oklahoma in football. We can hope. There are some friends that I have that are like that. Or that you talk to a few people, but for the most part, it's just like you said. They're not going to concede that, and and they're not.
And you can imagine in an office full, in a courthouse full of attorneys.
Oh, Lord.
When I was in Kane County, how these arguments would go. And I would even tell them, I said, okay, let's look at all the numbers, because that's what we lawyers like to do is look at the facts. I said, let's look at all the numbers. Of course, now the number has gone up since I left Kane County, but now we have 47 conference titles. OSU's got 3, 10 if we're generous, and give them the ones that they won when they were in the Missouri Valley Conference that we were never in with them. Okay? So even if I'm generous and give them that 10, they still would have to win for the next 37 years in a row to even tie it.
Right.
They'd have to win Bedlam for the next 69 years in a row to tie it. They would have to win. Oh, this is the best one, guys. This is the best one. They'd have to win the next 293 games that they play straight without a loss, which is 24 seasons, to even tie our all-time win record.
And that's
not going to happen. You've got some Yahoo goat roper out there going, by golly, we're just as good as OU in football. No, you're not, goat roper. You are not.
They got trophy cases, so they can put all them different helmets in there, not trophies.
Not trophies, yeah. all their flashy helmets. That's what their trophy cases.
Was that Blinken that said that, or one of them? Yeah, it was one of them other guys. Wasn't it?
Yeah,
they got more uniform changes than they do football accolades.
Yeah, and say last week when we had Blinken on here, he threw one out that I'm a lifelong Sooner fan. I'm an old guy. I did not realize that Kansas and Iowa State have a better record against Oklahoma than Oklahoma State does.
Yes, than OSU does. Yeah.
All right, I never realized. I'd have never thought that. But
that is little brother syndrome to the final.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, and just everything. We have 162 All-Americans. They have 17.
Yeah.
35 of our All-Americans have been unanimous, which is the most in college football history. OSU has no unanimous All-Americans.
Ray Sanders wasn't unanimous?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Even their Heisman Trophy winner wasn't unanimous.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it is. It's trying to argue with the brick wall. And like I said, I love them. And they're like, well, we bleed orange and da-da-da. And I said, well, you know what? My blood is crimson the way our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ intended it to be. So that's between you and Satan if your blood's different color. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. And like I said, it's almost like, arguing with a brick wall, and they take everything you say personally. Even,
oh my God, yes.
Even when you're not really trying to be mean, you just say something, off the wall, and it's like, that's how all you Sooner fans are. We at least root for OU when you're not playing OSU. And I'm like,
I don't know about that.
That's your own damn problem, okay?
Yeah.
I don't care if you could root for us or not when we're not playing you. I never root for
What's that
OSU.
got to do with anything?
Yeah.
Good grief.
No, I don't either. And part of that, and I say that because of the OSU fans that I grew up with for the most part and that I was surrounded by when I lived in K County. I had a couple of my friends that genuinely liked OU. They just were OSU fans and wanted OSU to win.
Yeah.
But they didn't want us, death and destruction upon OU at every turn. A lot of those OSU fans that say that are OU haters. They hate our guts and they want us to lose. And that's fine, but don't begrudge me the same thing.
Right.
But OSU loses to Central Michigan. I thought that was damn funny.
A little healthy hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
No, there's not. The stuff they would do to my office. See, I was in K County during their 2-year win streak. And again, I'm doing air quotes around win streak. Because, to me, 19 years is a win streak. But I guess take what you can get when you're orange and black.
Right.
And I would come back to my office being decorated, with OSU stuff. And there was a detective friend of mine, die-hard Cowboy fan, God rest his soul, wonderful, wonderful man, wonderful detective. And we had a bet. And so I lost the bet, obviously, that first year. And he's like, okay, $20. I'm like, yeah, $20. Well, of course, being a sneaky lawyer, he didn't say what form he wanted it in. So I got him $20 worth of pennies and unrolled every last roll and put it into a shoebox. So
Nice.
then, and of course, he got a big kick out of that, and he said a lot of, I can cuss with the best of them. He makes me look like a Sunday schooler with his cussing. He said a few choice cuss words. And then the next year, when they won again, he said, we had our bet, and I said, well, why don't we up it to $30? He's like, oh, okay, $30. So when OSU wins, of course, he calls me, rubs it in my face, and I said, that's fine. I said, I'll give you $30 fair and square. And he's like, I don't want any of your lawyer BS. He said, I want $30, cold, hard cash. And I said, no problem. So then I take $30, I put it in a Tupperware container with water, and I freeze it. And I take it to his office, and I dump it out of the Walmart stack, and it did the perfect little spin like a quarter spins on the desk before it falls down. He got quite a kick out of that. He's like, there's my money. Like, it's right there, and that's my spot. You said you wanted cold, hard cash.
There it is.
Cold, it's hard, and as soon as that melts in 12 hours,
Oh, my God.
cash in half.
That is hilarious.
Now, I've never thought about paying a bet with a bag of pennies. That's a good one. I'm gonna have to.
Oh yeah, I was particularly proud of that one.
Yeah, and not bad on the cold hard cash. So does he do the same thing if?
Well, the next year
Sooners
we
win?
won, 52-9. That was that next year that we won, and it was after Les Miles and all that crap about two teams are going to meet and we're going to see which one's the best, all that kind of crap. Well, so he had gone to that game. That one was in Norman, and he'd gone to that game and comes back and has his ticket stub, and he stapled a check to it about 100 times. And the check said, and I wasn't married back then, and so it had my maiden name on it, but it said, to Tara, the OU bitch Doty.
Oh, man.
And I said, you don't think I'll catch this check? I'll catch this check with pride.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had fun. Oh, and just a little side note to tell you about the Sugar Bowl, the infamous Sugar Bowl when we played LSU. this is my detective friend, again, diehard Aggie, was an OU hater, OSU fan. He had won tickets to go to the Sugar Bowl. And, of course, I made a comment, oh, well, thank God that's as close as an OSU person will ever get to the Sugar Bowl. And he said, he called me when it was over. He said, I actually rooted for your Sooners to win. He said, we got down to New Orleans because those LSU fans are the worst human beings. And now keep in mind, this is a man who is a detective who has interrogated child molesters, rapists, and murderers.
Oh, my God.
And he said they were the worst human beings he had ever encountered. And he was a big, gruff guy. And he said, if I could have found an OU shirt down in New Orleans big enough to fit me, he goes, I'd have stood on and challenged every last one of those blankety blanks to say something to me. He said they were awful, horrible people. Because I didn't think there was anything that could make me root for your Sooners, but the LSU Tiger fans did.
Yeah, I've heard that from several people, or that went to that game. The same thing. It was they're obnoxious, they're rude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
all of my friends that went down the game said the exact same thing, that the fans were just rude, and and obviously people are going to trash talk a little bit.
Yeah.
That the stories that I heard were just outrageous. But yeah, that was one story that always stayed with me. I thought, okay, here's my friend who is an OU hater, and he even said
for a night
he
that
wanted
turned
to
him.
win because because how awful they were.
It took a bunch of crazy Cajuns to turn him for one day. But they did it. So, but not just OSU. Talk about your love for burnt orange too, because I want to set this up. I want to set this up too real quick. Is when we were discussing what we're going to talk about on the podcast, I sent you the message. I was like, you said I'm just explaining to everybody. She goes, I got what I want to talk about. And I was like, okay, what is it? And this spew of hatred comes out in the text form of, I want to talk about OSU facts and figures. And that's how it read. Okay. Texas. And I was like, okay. Well, we are set for some good hate talk, I guess is.
Yeah, I don't like Texas at all. I am very much my father is the one who taught me the only thing good coming out of Texas is I-35 North.
Yeah.
So I very much believe that. My daddy doesn't root for any Texas team. He was a long-suffering Saints fan. And when they finally won the Super Bowl, that is the only time I saw my daddy buy a shirt that was not OU.
Oh, really?
Was the Saints, yes. And he was like a kid in the candy store. He's going to be turning 78 in August. And he was so happy when they won. He said, I really did not think I would live long enough to see this moment.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think I would live long enough to see that moment. Because the Saints always choked it somehow at some point in time.
Yeah. So my parents, have never, my dad's never been, our whole love for OU football started when my dad's oldest brother, my Uncle Bill, played for Bud Wilkinson.
Oh, cool.
Now, we're a little bit embarrassed about this, and I say this jokingly, obviously. Well, this is back in the day now. Keep in mind, Daddy's the youngest brother, so my Uncle Bill was playing for Bud Wilkinson like in 47, 48, something like that. And he'd gone to OU on the promise of a brand new car. Well, OU didn't give him the brand new car, and TCU came up with a brand new car and said, hey, just follow us back to Fort Worth and play for us, and this car is all yours. And so he did, and he ended up graduating from TCU and lettered at TCU. But had he stayed at OU, he'd have been on the 1950 national championship team.
Yeah, but he gave it away.
But so nonetheless, that started the love of all things Sooner.
Yeah,
and the intense hatred of Texas was early in me. And the Texas fans are just as bad. At least Texas, though, is competitive with us. It's a competitive rivalry. It's not like OSU where, they'd have to win 69 times in a row to even tie us. But the constant thing they say about us is, well, you get all your pay from Texas. And I finally started saying, you know what? So what?
Yeah.
It's the largest state, or one of the largest states in America. They are obsessed with college football. We border that state. Why would we not get players from Texas?
Well, everybody
But they
gets players.
refuse
Everybody
to
gets players from
acknowledge.
Texas.
Yeah. It's like, there's some rule that, we can only have people from our state play. It would be just like if we bordered California. We'd probably have a lot more players from California. But they never acknowledge that Darrell Royal is an Okie.
Right. And there's
Like, okay, your
Dallas, Oklahoma.
head coach, your stadium named after him is from Oklahoma, played football at Oklahoma. So what does that say about y'all, that y'all had to have an Okie win all your games for you?
yeah.
But again, just like OSU fans, they just
They won't
simply
acknowledge
refuse
it.
to acknowledge that.
Right.
I think
Yeah,
it's
it
time
makes
for
me crazy.
our favorite Texas joke.
Which one is that, Rob?
Now, what's your favorite?
I don't know. Well, I don't know if I can say my favorite.
Oh, well, I wouldn't then.
I could, but I'll go ahead and
All
say
right,
it.
what's her favorite one?
Whose? Tara's? Yeah, I mean,
Mine?
Like, how many girls we got on the phone right now?
it's the road out of what's the best thing.
Oh,
to come
yeah,
out of
the
Texas?
road. The only good thing to come out of Texas is my dad says I-35 North. I taught Mason to say the road to Oklahoma.
Oh, that's good.
Nice, nice.
So, what's your favorite Texas joke, Rob?
My favorite Texas joke is, let's see, how does it go now? What's the difference between a Texas cheerleader and a catfish?
What?
I don't know.
One has whiskers and stinks, and the other one is a fish. That's my favorite Texas joke. FYI.
Okay, I'll go ahead with mine. Why wasn't Jesus born in Texas? They couldn't find three wise
they
men
couldn't find-
and a virgin.
Yeah, but I can touch on that one.
She had you dead to rights on that one. Yep. That's a good one.
I actually won. I don't know. I won something on a radio show on Texas Week one time with that one.
Oh, yeah?
They
Oh, that's good.
They wouldn't put it on the air because they were they said, but we can't read it on the air. But it had to do with Jesus, Texas, and wise men, and he wins. So I don't even remember what it was I won, but they.
I've got a good lawyer joke too.
Oh, do you?
I'll
She didn't
refer-
laugh at all. There was not a
Yeah.
laugh at all. Not a chuckle came out of you with that.
Yeah, I think I'll keep that one to myself.
I think instead of air quotes, a bird flew up, or at least two of them. I don't know any lawyer jokes. I mean, I respect. Lawyers.
I've got great lawyer jokes. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, sure. Hit us with lawyer
Okay.
jokes.
Everybody knows about the 10,000 dead lawyers at the bottom of the ocean, what you call those, right?
Nope.
A great start.
Oh, okay. Good one. Yeah.
Okay. So, those 10,000 dead attorneys at the bottom of the ocean, why don't the sharks eat them?
I don't know.
Professional courtesy.
Uh,
I should have knew that one. I should have got that one. Dang it.
oh, so yeah, I bet you do hear I guess lawyers share lawyer jokes with each other.
Oh, yeah, we do, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people tell them to us all the time. And, yeah. I think they're funny, so.
Oh, man.
Yeah. There's one lawyer joke that I like. I'll probably tell it wrong, but this doctor had a friend who was a lawyer, and of course, doctors they always come up. People always come up to him. Doc, I got a lump on my side. What is this? Hey, doc, can you look at this? Always asking him health questions, and he's afraid to give advice to his friends or just anybody because he's afraid of a malpractice suit or anything like that. And he asked his attorney, he said, how do I stop this? And he goes, well, just charge them when they come up to you. And he goes, well, I can't charge them when they come up to you. And he goes, well, then don't complain about it. And the doctor didn't understand it until the next day he got a bill from the lawyer.
The sad thing of it is there's probably somebody who
Yeah, there's probably just somebody that did that. It was like, don't come and ask me stuff.
Okay, and I do have another good one.
Okay.
2 male lawyers were walking down the street. a fantastic-looking woman walks past them. Lawyer number one looks at her and says, "Man, I'd like to screw her." Lawyer number two looks and says, "Out of what?"
Oh, that was maybe
Was not expecting
was not expecting that. Me and Rob had the look in our face of, oh, where are we going with this one?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, that's a good one. So let's get back on Sooners because we're telling bad jokes now. So we could go on and on and on with jokes, but you've been a Sooner fan your whole life.
My entire life.
All 24 years, right?
Yes. All 24 years.
Now, you said you've been a fan since 7 and that you have a Hello Kitty autograph book.
Yes.
That's so cute.
Hey, I got one too.
That I want to clarify was purchased by my parents when I was a little girl. It's not like I went out at 45 and went, "Ooh, Hello Kitty."
Okay.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah. I have gone to the football games since I was 7, and I'm 45 now, so damn near 4 decades. And the one thing that saddens me as my son is getting old enough to go to the games, is that kids don't seem to have the access to the players that my generation of kids had.
They don't.
Because back in the day, you could go on the football field.
Yep.
And if you didn't touch them on the football field, you could go out behind the stadium, the east side that's now all bowled up. You could go out there and wait for them to come out of the locker room, and they'd sign your autographs. I never saw them refuse a kid. I never saw them be mean to anybody.
Right.
And so I've got, just name them. I've got Timmy Lasher, Troy Aikman, Tony Casillas, Lydell Carr, Spencer Tillman, all these great players. And I happened to get, while he played there, Derek Shepard's autograph.
Yeah.
So once Sterling came to OU, it was my mission that before he graduated, somehow I was going to get him to sign that same page. Because, of course, I've kept it, and it's all sun-faded and everything now. But I kept it, and we had gone to this thing. It was a women's tee, but it was TEE. And it was like a little football camp for women that OU put on. And I think the first one they did was I think it was 2014 was the first one. And all the benefits went to United Way and Stevenson's Cancer Research Center and all that good stuff. And they had Bob pretty well hemmed up, where you couldn't really get to Bob that much.
Right.
But they took us and showed us, and we went through football drills and all this kind of stuff. And it was just a super, super fun day. And my best friend and I went out there, and she's kind of like me, graduated from OU, grew up her whole life, going to football games and loving OU. And I told her, about this. And of course, on everything that we got ahead of time, it said, please do not bring things for autographs. Photos are welcome. Don't bring stuff to autograph. It's just going to take too much time, blah, 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 blah. And of course, I'm Catholic, so I'm like, I'll ask for forgiveness rather than permission, And so I bring my little Hello Kitty autograph book with me. And they do this little thing where they had us watch. We toured the Switzer Center. Then we get to watch a little scrimmage. And then once the scrimmage was over, they let all the women come out on the field and kind of huddle with the football players. Well, it just so happened that Sterling was about 10 feet away from me. And I looked at my friend and I pointed at Sterling. She's like, go, go, go. And so I grabbed my little Hello Kitty autograph book. And by this time, everybody had kind of dispersed and, people were taking pictures and everything. And there were these people just randomly shouting, like officials that were, handling the crowd and everything, going, no autograph, please, no autograph, please. And I'm like, screw that. And so I go up to Sterling and I said, I know that we're not supposed to ask for autographs. I said, but I have this Hello Kitty autograph book. And at this point, he's probably thinking, what the hell is this crazy woman doing? And I said, and years ago when I was a little girl, your dad signed my book when he was a player. And I said, I would love for you to sign the same page. And his face just lit up.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I would love to sign it. And of course, then I couldn't find the damn page. I had it marked in stuff, and I'm trying to flip through the page. And he's just smiling the whole time. And I get him to sign it, and he's like, oh, wow. I guess, man, my dad had a lot neater handwriting than I did, which he did, actually. I was like, okay, I'm done. That was well worth the money. You know, I don't need to do anything else the rest of the day. I got what I came for. And so that is framed with the football tickets from years ago, where they did like the family tradition football tickets. Because I'm old fashioned. I like my paper tickets. I don't do the whole mail thing. And it's got Derek and Sterling on it. So I framed that along with the autograph with Hello Kitty in the corner.
Now you, if I know you said you listened to some of the podcasts, you've heard mine and Rob's story about Sterling, haven't you? Everybody probably gets.
No, I have not.
Yeah. Well, we taught him everything he knows.
Absolutely everything.
we were his 4th grade football coaches here in Norman.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, him and my son Caleb are still good friends. They don't talk as much, obviously. But Sterling used to spend the night at my house when he was in 4th grade. And we have, me and Rob still have a team football that we have a space underneath it, where he signed it as a 4th grader, that we told him that he had. Well, first off, he signed real small when he signed it the first time. And I went, no. You write your name big, son, okay? And when you get to the NFL, you got to promise me that you'll sign this, below it. And he said, okay. And me and Rob still both have it. And I've talked to his mom a couple of times. I'll send her messages, and I said just to keep reminding him that, if he's ever around. But Caleb, every now and then, he'll be, down on campus or something, being a 25-year-old, and he'll send me a picture of him and Sterling. Look who's in town. And I'm like, dang it, tell him to come and sign my file. He still hasn't done it, but he has always been just the sweetest guy, sweetest kid, sweet, and
he seems like, and to lose your dad like that, and for sure to lose her husband that way. Yeah, I mean, hats off to her, because that could not have been easy. And he just seemed, and obviously I don't know his siblings. I know he had siblings, but he just seemed like a great young man. I mean, she did a tremendous job with him.
And my wife always likes to tell the story about, we were over at his house one day. We had taken him home, and we were. He would stay at our house between school and when Sherry got off work, and Teresa would always take him home, or we'd take him over there. And we got there before she did one time, and we went in the house with him, and he wanted to get out his dad's football stuff and show us. So he gets out the shoebox, and there's, Super Bowl ring, Big 12 rings, and his face was just lit up showing us this stuff. This is his, Super Bowl ring, and I mean, the thing was huge. I mean, but, the love he had, the love that whole family had, you could see it, and the love that, that he had for his dad, was evident back then, and even as an adult, all the stuff he did at OU. When they would, do a special on it on the ESPN or something, it was true, it was true devastation, but, that family came out of it, the best that anybody could. And it's because of their faith in God and their faith in each other and their love for each other is how they did it. But just,
the Son of a Sooner thing, little documentary thing they did. I'm not even afraid to admit I did the ugly cry watching that. It was like you need somebody to slap you to stop and you going saying, I was doing that kind of cry, and my husband is like, "What in the hell is wrong with this? I'm watching this thing on Sterling Shepard." That was very touching and very moving, in the way the OU program, they didn't have to do that.
Oh no, they took him. Bob
the way they embraced him is just speaks volumes. And Bob Stoops has gotten a lot of criticism over things, and people that hate us have accused him of, oh, well, he does anything he wants to win and doesn't care about the character and integrity. And I just think that shows that those people are just wrong, you know, and that yes, he does care about that, and those kind of things matter to him.
Yeah, because he'd spend the night on a Friday night, you know, at our house. Him and Caleb play video games or basketball, whatever they were doing, and you know that Sherry'd have to come by and get him, you know, on Saturdays and take him to the stadium. So he'd go on the sidelines, you know, like he always did. Sherry hardly ever went to the game. She just took him and dropped him off. And I was always kidding. I was like, Sterling, dude, when do I get a ticket? You know, when do I get down there with you, buddy? And he goes, I don't think they'll let you. I don't think they'll let you. You know, I was always kidding with him. But I mean, it was the same way with the Texas game. He would go down to the Texas game with the team. And Bob, and he'll tell you now, I mean, even that story, you know, Bob, you know, as much as he could, as far as the football program, took him under the wing as a product of a Sooner, you know, and you know that sounded terrible, but you know what I mean. It just
well, no, I know exactly what you mean.
You know that they made, you know, it wouldn't have mattered if that kid ever played football at OU. It was obvious probably back then that he would, because he was a man child in fourth grade. But
yes,
you know, that's just what Bob was going to do. Was going to take care of that kid the best he could from a distance. You know,
fantastic story.
Yeah,
one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, I didn't cry during that though. Did you, Rob?
No.
Yeah.
My wife did.
Felony boys. I'm just saying.
But so. Growing up a Sooner, what was your favorite Sooner game that you attended as a kid or that you've attended now?
You know, when people ask me that, I remember the worst game ever was, and I hate to even utter his name because he embarrassed my university so bad, but Charles Thompson, when when Jamel Holloway broke his leg or ankle, whatever it was, in that Nebraska game.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. Right?
Yeah.
Charles Thompson came in?
Yeah, Charles Thompson came in for Jamel.
Yeah, and we lost to Nebraska. That was horrible. And the sleet and my dad's one of those people, it does not matter if we're winning by 60 or losing by 60, we stay until the clock says 0.
Yeah.
And I was so miserable, and we were begging him to leave. We're like, we're not leaving until this game is over. And I was convinced, even at that age, that I was going to have frostbite. So that was the most horrible experience I could remember in terms of just between losing and the weather. But really, my favorite game, I was trying to think of my favorite game as a child, and I couldn't really remember one that stood out, but the Nebraska game in 2000. As an adult. That was, and of course I was there for the Texas Tech game, to jump around, you know, Texas Tech game was phenomenal. But just that crowd, I remember, you know, we were so hyped up, we were preseason, 20 or something.
Yeah.
And then by the time, you know, we're making our way through Red October, and Nebraska comes into town with Eric Crouch and, you know, all that stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, I just feel it, we're going to win. And then boom, 14-0 Nebraska. And the crowd just kind of went, you know.
It was kind of like, oof, the wind went out of the sails.
And then to come back the way we did, and the electricity in the crowd. And it was one of those times I remember, because I thought, you know what? I'm pretty sure I have ruptured a vocal cord, but I don't even care. I can get a talk box later. I don't care. You know?
So now you said your dad's 78, right?
He will be 78 in August.
So does he still go to the games, or?
Yes, he and my mother both still go to the game. She'll be 7. Well, I probably shouldn't say her age. She's really young too. She's only 30. Yeah, she still goes. They've gone, and I will tell you, we went through the crappy years too. We didn't quit going when Josh Lake was coach. We didn't give our tickets away. We went to every miserable game.
Yeah. Well, I think there's two things with my parents that I always love to share. One is this past season. My mom, she's 80. Okay, and my dad passed away several years ago, and she's remarried, and her husband's not an OU fan. He's not a football fan. Okay, And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so, but she watches the games, and last year on 2 occasions, she has one of those medic alert buttons and bracelet. She set it off. and the ambulance came.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, the ambulance showed up at her house because she had set. Now, I think my sister said one time she punched the button, and the other one is on her wrist. And I think it takes her pulse or her blood pressure or something. I can't remember what it was,
funny.
but it set it off. And so, my sister sent me a text that the paramedics were just at Mom's house. She set it off watching. I think it was the Texas Tech game. 2 years.
That sounds like my parents. So we get very animated. We yell and scream at the TV. We yell and scream at the game. I mean, even when I got married, I purposely planned my wedding to bypass football season.
Well, duh. I mean,
yeah. And my colors were red and white. And my dad and I danced to Boomer Blues, which I don't know if you're familiar with that song or not, but it's Boomer Sooner. It's just the Pride basketball band, and they don't play it as much as they used to. It's just a slowed down, kind of like jazz version of Boomer Sooner. So that was our father-daughter song that we did father-daughter dance to. And in Ponca City, so all of my cowboy friends that came to the wedding had to sit through that.
You were thinking ahead.
Yeah, and had to sit around all the red and white, too.
Yes. Oh, and we had a red and white candy buffet, too.
No.
So they had to eat red and white candy. Yeah, it was my cake was red velvet. I mean, I'm telling you, I went Sooner all the way, and my dress was even red and white. Yeah.
Well, see, when my dad, unfortunately, the last game I took him to was during the Blake years, or that I went to with my dad was during the Blake years.
Yeah.
And it was Tulsa. I picked one, that I'm going to take Dad to a game this year, and surely we'll beat Tulsa. Well, that didn't work out. But my favorite story of that was my dad was disabled from the Vietnam War, so he had trouble getting around. He could walk, but as he got older, he walked slower. And we were walking, and I always just walked with him. I've done that my whole life as a kid and stuff. I never really noticed it. And my brother-in-law was there, and people were passing us on the sidewalk, close to the game, close to the stadium, just passing us, just like crazy. And my dad just kind of stopped and he said, fellas, I hate that I'm slowing you down. I'm sorry. Why don't you guys just go on ahead? And I said, Dad, we're fine. He goes, well, I hate y'all having to slow down. Well, about that time, the cheerleading squad ran past us, all around us. And I was like, Dad, see, if you'd have walked any faster, we would not have seen this.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, was like, yeah, Burner, come on. This was well worth it. And he goes, well, of course, my dad is, I'm not going to tell your wives about this. And I was like, well, hey, that was the whole thing. But my dad was the same way. We would be listening to games on the radio, and we would be beating Kansas, 77-7 and the third quarter, and Kansas would score a touchdown. My dad would throw the radio. I mean,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I would have got along with your dad just fine.
I mean, he just didn't tolerate, and he would always say, they're going to, foul around and lose this damn game. I'd be like, Dad, it's 77-14.
Yeah, I get real anxious, and when we lose, I am worse than any man. Don't talk to me. I don't want to, I dream about it when I go to sleep. It interrupts my sleep patterns when we lose. I get so upset. After the Rose Bowl, I laid in the floor. I don't even think I blinked for 30 minutes. I just laid in the floor, staring straight at the ceiling, and my husband's like, you okay? And I didn't even respond. I'm just sitting there like,
yeah, it was a tough one.
Why am I being punished? Why did the football god punish me?
Yeah, that was a
funny
tough
to
one.
watch him. To watch him get all excited. Because he's from El Salvador, so football to him is soccer.
Yeah.
And the first game I ever took him to, we were dating, and it was the University of Alabama at Birmingham. And it was when Rufus Alexander still played for us. And of course, everybody does the roof
Yeah,
thing.
did the roof. Yeah.
Well, he made a big tackle, and of course, the whole crowd erupts in roof. And my husband looks at me and he says, "Sharita, how they boo this man? He plays for the Sooners, no?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "They're not booing him. They're saying Roo." I said, "His name is Rufus." And so when he makes the play, everyone yells out Roo. Well, so then the very next play, Rufus makes the tackle. And then I can hear my husband, and I wish I could imitate his accent perfectly the way he trills his R's, but he's going, Roo! Roo!
So you've converted him into a full blood Sooner fan.
Yeah.
Not hard to do when you win, right?
So funny. Do what?
I said not hard to do when you win.
No, that's true. But it's so funny because he does the same thing to me that my dad does to my mama on game day. Every conversation on game day was this way. Okay, what time are we leaving? Dad, okay, we're leaving at noon. Okay. So then my mom's in the bathroom at 11:45, finishing getting up ready, and Dad's pacing the hall. Alice, well, we're leaving in 15 minutes. And my dad will go, I was going to hear my mom going, Bob, don't rush me. I'll be ready at noon. And my husband does the same thing to me. I'll be getting ready. He's got the OU stuff on, and he's ready to go. He's like, Tarita. And he's, looking at the phone or looking at the clock. I'm like, okay, when you tell me what time you want to leave, I'll be ready at that time. Because every time you have to come back here and tell me, am I almost done with my makeup, it takes me even longer.
So do you guys come up here and tailgate, or do y'all get to the game and go back?
We mainly get to the game. My parents have never been real big on tailgating. Tailgating for us just consists of bringing food. We don't, do the break out the cookers and all that kind of stuff. But we get to the game anywhere from 2 to 3 hours early because Dad's like, I'm not going to be driving with all the damn drunks in the traffic now. That's my dad.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Dad, we live, I grew up in Davis. Like, we live in Davis. It doesn't even take an hour to get to Norman. Most people are coming from the north to South Norman anyway because of coming from Oklahoma City or whatever. It's not like there's a huge old traffic jam, going. And, of course, now it's a pain in the butt going home south.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to Riverwind.
Yeah, true.
So that pissed my dad off on a whole other level.
Yeah.
Damn, I can't even get home. So now we go 77 on the way home. We don't even go on the interstate anymore.
Gotta find the back roads.
Yeah.
But, well, I mean, we've been at it here about an hour. Is there anything else that you want to share that you haven't got to share?
No, not anything I can think of.
Well, I want to tell you, this has been a blast. Loved the memories and the stories and the facts and figures about your most hated team and your best friends' teams.
Yeah.
We all have them. Don't feel alone. We're all like that.
Yeah.
But
although it is easier to lose to Texas.
No, it's not.
Because at least you come home to the Red River and you don't have to deal with very many Texas fans. When you lose to OSU, living 40 minutes from Stillwater, you hear about it for the whole year.
Yeah, that's bad.
But I think we've only lost 4 times to them in my lifetime.
I just go 88-17.
Yeah.
88-17. Say something else.
Yeah. You won one. You win one every 20 years. So what? That's about what it averages out to. So, but you are welcome back anytime. You have our you have our information. If there's anything you ever want to talk about, just reach out to us, and we've got some big things, and to all the fans that are listening, all 8 of you. We decided it's 8 people now.
Both of them.
But we've got some big things planned for when the season for the fans. So we'll be reaching out to you during the season as well to do some stuff with us. But I hope you had a good time.
Hey, we got a guy listening.
I did. I had a wonderful time.
We got a guy listening from Japan.
Yeah, that's right.
Do what?
Rob brought it up. We keep forgetting about it. Whoever you are in Japan.
We have one guy in Japan that's listening to us.
Yeah,
We appreciate that.
yeah, and a couple of people in Great Britain. Okay, that
Cool.
because our provider that we send our podcast out on, it tells you where your listeners are at. And there's one, there's one in Japan, and there's two in Great Britain, and then there's
Well, cool.
and then there's a couple.
So we're international then.
Yeah, we're worldwide.
To the guy in Japan. Hajime mashite, mixing desu, dozo yoroshiku.
Rob.
I'm telling you, I just spoke Japanese.
Yeah. So if you find our Twitter account, shoot us a bill, say, hey, it's me. So at least we know who it is, because he was the first international listener that we had, and I was like, I sent Rob a text. Holy crap, man! Somebody in Japan's listening to us.
That's awesome.
I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Now, I would not be a proper Oklahoma girl, and my mother would be embarrassed. Since you all have invited me on your show, she would want me to make you some cookies or something as a thank you. So you'll have to tell me what kind of cookies are your favorite, and then send me your address where I can mail them.
Okay.
Let's see. Twist my arm. Okay.
And let me just
have you seen pictures of us on Twitter or our cartoon characters?
Yeah, I have.
We can put away some cookies. Let's just put it that way.
Well,
It's like a
I'm
life
a chubby
mission.
girl myself, so you can trust that my cookies. Skinny girls, I'm sorry, lovely, love them to death. You can't trust them when it comes to food. They're going to be throwing in some gluten-free. They'll tell you that non-fat cheese tastes just as good as real cheese, and we all know they're lying. So chubby girls can be trusted when it comes to cookies. Okay.
Okay.
So y'all tell me what kind you like. I'll make you some and I'll mail them to you. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's awful sweet. Jeez.
Hey, whatever you make the best. I'm not picky.
I do peanut butter. Everybody loves my peanut butter. I can do chocolate chip. I can do both and mail them to you.
There
if
you
want
go.
me to do that
There you go.
as a thank you. But don't forget to send me your address.
Oh, we won't. As soon as we're done, it'll be like.
You're like, you'll be in there.
Yeah, don't tempt us with free cookies. I mean,
That's not even a question.
free cookies or free beer. I mean,
Okay.
well, either one of those is super. But again, we hope we're glad you had a good time. We will do it again. We'll get we'll get you our address for them free cookies. And to all the Sooner fans out there, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. She was great. And
Wonderful.
So that's the podcast for the day. So Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
And Boomer Tara.
Boomer Sooner.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. If you want to be on the podcast and talk Sooner football with us, go to www.soonerfootballfans.com. Click on the How to Be on the Podcast tab, fill out the form, and we'll get you on. Boomer.